globally. So if you are a Christian Nigeria and the Turkish president is declaring your country part of Islamic world, you should be alarmed. If you are a Biafran and you are sitting on the fence, and apart from them disclosing, even in European Union, that Nigeria is an Islamic state, Turkey now have disclosed it publicly. Gumi gave advice, say go to Turkey, go to Pakistan, go to China, go and align with them, forget about the US. He understood what he meant by that. He said it on 26 December 2025. Don't align yourself with US. Go to Turkey. He understood because Gumi schooled in Turkey. I just pray God should give me time.
Mohammed Abbas.
You see, because Turkey partnership with Nigeria is designed to strengthen Islamic dominance, not to respect religious or protect Christian minorities. Because he has played it in Turkey ever since he took up the leadership. And it is working. So Nigeria have now seen, okay, it worked in Turkey. Therefore, it must work in Nigeria. Let us follow the template. You see, he made another statement. He said, praising Tinubu's firm steps against terrorism. Did you hear that? How can terrorists fight terrorists? Firm steps against terrorism. That was what he said. And I'm going to, read the full line on that statement. He said, under the leadership of President Tinubu, despite the fact that Tinubu fell down, despite the fact that he was, doing babysitting for Tinubu, cleaning his mucus from his nose, trying to see how he can hold him with the oversized jacket that they bought for Tinubu. He said, come. Upon that, he said, under the leadership of President Tinubu, Nigeria is taking firm steps against terrorism, and Turkey stands by the Nigerian people in this struggle. What happened to the alliance? What happens with the alliance between Nigerian government and the US? US gave Nigerian government two conditions: disband Sharia, or stop Sharia, and disband Hizbah. What did they do till today? They have not done anything. Instead, they went and paid lobbying firm to lie. So if you look at that, it sounds very good on the surface. Oh, fighting terrorism is good. Oh my God. Oh, Turkey cares about Christian lives in Nigeria. But you need to understand what terrorism means in the Nigerian context.
Wow.
Not in the global context. You need to understand what terrorism means in the Nigerian context. Because Nigeria officially has designated me and you as a terrorist organization. That is IPOB. Not Boko Haram that have slaughtered over 100,000 people, including Christians. Not ISWAP that has kidnapped Christians from churches and they are still holding them in captivity till now as we speak. Not the Fulani that have massacred the entire Christian village and have taken over their villages. No, it is us that they have designated terrorists. It is us that are advocating for our freedom.
Israel knows we are not terrorists.
That Nigeria has designated as a terrorist organization. And before they did this, remember, they have removed Sunday Igboho from the unwanted list. And they have declared him a free man, that he is no more a terrorist. So the only terrorists that Nigerian government have now are me and you.
God forbid.
Do you understand what is happening? So when this man said that Nigeria now is taking firm steps against terrorism and Turkey stands by the Nigerian people in this struggle, that terrorism means me and you. Did you see? So he's specifically praising Nigeria for cracking down on our activists, beginning from our Onyendu that is in Sokoto prison and our ex-prime minister in Finland prison. So he's endorsing the suppression of self-determination movement. They have preserved their own Sunday Igboho, so that whenever they are carrying out this strike, Sunday Igboho and all the Yorubas will be exonerated from this weapon of war that they'll bring into Nigeria. So he's supporting the continued illegal detention of our leaders, despite the multiple court orders for his release. So when this Erdogan says Turkey stands by Nigeria, in this struggle. He is not talking about standing with Christian being massacred by Boko Haram.
So it's
He is not
domestic.
talking about protecting Christian villages from Fulani attacks. No. He is talking about standing with the Nigerian government in suppressing what they label terrorism, which means suppressing Biafra's independence movement and Christian self-defense. That is the reason you could see that military man coming out now to say, oh, they will send security to go and confirm if the Yahoo video is AI. I told you it's going to be a battle.
Yes.
Now, what are we supposed to do as Biafrans? Because they are coming to engage our defense. We need money.
More eje.
You see, it is not that I don't have what to do with my time. But every day we have to come here and educate ourselves and create awareness. Let Biafra know that locking up an Onitsha market is just a tip of the iceberg. War is coming. They are coming to test if our defense, if the video made by our gentle Yahoo commander is AI or not. And they are coming with weapons. But I guarantee them they'll go back in body bags. It is not the first time. You see? He made another statement. He said, Turkey ready to share its what? Significant difference in counter-terrorism. I will read the full statement because I just extracted that point. He said, we are ready to share Turkey's significant experience in counter-terrorism. Terrorist organizations emerging particularly in Africa's Sahel region pose a threat to the peace of the entire continent. Guinea. So Turkey now is interested in the peace of Africa.
They are panicking.
But he's not interested in the peace to make sure that his own country is safe. Why?
See one of them answering.
Because he has succeeded to Islamize everyone in Turkey. Only 0.2% are Christians. Few years ago, we saw what happened in Syria, where the terrorists entered the church and slaughtered everybody in the church. All of a sudden, Turkey is now ready to share Turkey a significant experience in counter-terrorism. Terrorist organization emerging particularly in Africa's Sahel region pose a threat to the peace of the entire continent. You see, what Turkey's significant experience in counter-terrorism actually means that Turkey has fought the Kurdistan Workers' Party. We've been hearing the PKK, Kurdistan Workers' Party, for 40 years. And this PKK is a Kurdish separatist movement that wanted Kurdish autonomy and eventually independence. So it sounds very familiar, just like us that want independence. So how did Turkey respond to the Kurdish independence movement? With total war, over 40,000 people have been killed in this conflict. And vast majority of them caught. Remember, when ISWAP
don't mind
kidnapped the Kurdish women, raped them, sold them out as slaves. Remember that video that trended that the buyers now were opening their face, the cloth that they used to cover them to see if they are beautiful. If you are beautiful, they will take you. If you are not beautiful, they will drop you. I don't know if you can remember that video that was trending. So this man succeeded. He used aerial bombardment of Kurdish villages using fighter jets and drones. The entire communities were destroyed. There was mass arrest and imprisonment. Over 10,000 Kurdish politicians, journalists, lawyers were detained on what? They gave it a name, terrorism charges. What did they do? Just to advocate for Kurdish rights. They imprisoned them. They killed them. He suppressed their language and culture, which is what Nigeria is doing. They banned their language in school. Now come to Biafra land. Are we teaching? Is there any Efik and Ibibio again in their curriculum? The answer is no. Is there Igbo again in their curriculum? The answer is no. Is there history? The answer is no. Anything that has to, educate our people, reignite them and create awareness about Biafra had been removed, erased completely from education. There were a lot of killings. Turkey operates kills so many of the Kurdish activists. Women and children, they were raped. Lots of their leaders were assassinated, not just in Tokyo, even in Germany, they killed them, in France, in Sweden, and other European countries where they sought refuge. They killed them there. And what did they do? The same thing that the Nigerian terrorist is calling IPOB today. They label all Kurdish activism as terrorism. So when Turkish military now instructors train Nigerian forces, which is what they are going to do, they are teaching them how to crush us, Biafrans, except we rise up and fund our freedom.
Why?
They are going to teach them mass imprisonment, how to carry it out,
TikTok,
except me and you
are telling me
wake up from our slumber.
TikTok,
They
take your
are
time.
going to teach them how to eliminate Biafrans.
What is
This
it?
is what is coming for Biafra, except we rise up
Market.
and fund our freedom. So before I go into the 9 agreements and explain it in detail to the best of my ability, what it means and the effect it has on us, I will yield my mic here in case anyone have anything to contribute to this introductory part, who this man is, what he did, and the statement that he made, how it relates to us if we are still sitting on the fence. So I yield my mic here.
Okay, let me take it from here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Okay.
can hear you. Yeah, Augustine.
Okay.
Sorry, my co-host. I thought I saw Augustina's hand, but she's down here.
Okay. Okay. Is it
Let
up
me
now?
send the mic. I'll send the mic to her again. Continue, please.
Okay. Thank you very much. Dear friends, it is very, very clear and glaring that if we don't wake up, that we are on our own. Every one of us know that before Tinubu went to Turkey to sign this agreement, the terrorist Gumi has went there and have already they aligned with Turkey. You know that Gumi being the leader and the terrorist that is heading this Boko Haram and this Fulani herdsmen, do you think that Turkey that Gumi advised Nigeria to go and align with, do you think that Turkey is coming for Fulani that is slaughtering people? Do you think that Turkey is coming for Boko Haram that Gumi also called that they are their warriors? Do you think that Turkey is coming for those people? It is very, very clear and glaring that Turkey is not coming to fight terrorism. Every one of us have been seeing and hearing the utterances of Gumi when he said that you cannot fight Fulani, you cannot fight their terrorists, that they are their own people, they are their own fighters. And the same person, the Gumi, the same person that advised the drug baron, advised their government to go to Turkey and align with Turkey, the same thing is what we are seeing right now. Are we not seeing that the handwriting is very clear? The problem is that I don't even know what Biafrans want. What they want. But if you are a Biafra and you know what you want and you allow anybody in the name of deceiving you that, oh, these people are no longer calling Prime Minister Simon Ekpa a Prime Minister. And you will not, you now allow that kind of narrative to drag you out or to make you not to support your own freedom. I want to tell you that is listening to me. One question you need to ask yourself before you can agree to whatever narrative they are being sold to you. Like, I have not seen anybody as a narrative seller like this bam bam bam, this useless basket man. Whenever I come across him, this guy. Somebody who publicly tell you that Biafra Gerisi Mazi Simon Ekpa, he said it. Now he is now using, oh, Prime Minister is now using it as a means to tell you that he's the honest man. Something I don't understand. Whenever I begin to reason it, I ask myself, why is it that all these useless people that has misled our people are now the people coming to claim holy, are now the people coming to claim saints? Somebody like, I don't know, who is among the people who misled our people. Somebody like Adadio Adandu, Adajoronjo, the useless Adadio Ramma. He's among the people that misled our people, yet Biafran still listening to her. I don't know why if you are listening to her, maybe some people may say they are just listening to her broadcast, but they don't follow her. Why are you listening to somebody who is all what she know how to do is to create a chaos? Immediately I see that this lady is is inconsistent somebody. I disengage myself with her. Even listening to her irritates me. I don't listen to her because everything she makes is a noise making. But what pains me most, I'm just trying to point all of them for you to see that these people has misled our people one way or the other, and they are the same people coming to claim holy. Adadio Rama was the person who came out to tell you that if it is not Mazi Simon Ekpa, that she will be a sabotage. She will sabotage this struggle. She will be, how did she say? She said she will become a sabo. You know, the other day our current Prime Minister was playing that video. When there's a program, he was playing that video. But that video was not loud enough. I don't even think if people listen to that video, but for a very long time ago, I have listened to her. That is why what she is doing is not surprise to me. Somebody has mapped out herself to become a sabo, in this struggle. And people are listening to that person. Arabi Rama was the one who knows very well. She knows very well that she and Ngozo Rabeze plan to go and shoot gun in one particular place. She came out and labeled it NKERE. And yet people are taking such person serious. Whoa, that is why I am asking. This Biafran, this state of Biafra, what did they really want? What did they really want? I have been asking, this thing has been disturbing me. I have been asking, is this really a Biafrans? The same person who supported Ngozo Rabeze to destroy whatever we are doing is now the one claiming holy. Look at Remigius, he's claiming holy. Oh God of mercy. Look at this 247. He's not claiming holy. Hi. God have mercy on anybody that listens to these people. So Biafrans, if you know that you need Biafra, if you know that unless you want to go and become a Muslim, and don't think that the kind of Muslim Fulani is bringing for you is like the kind of me. I am in a Muslim country. That is why when I see what is happening in Nigeria, I ask myself, is their own Muslim different? In a Muslim country where I am, hardly before you see people fight. Since I came to this country, I have not seen two people fighting. As a matter of fact, they call it haram. If you dare touch somebody, when I came with the mentality of Nigeria to this country new, One day somebody was challenging me. I punched that person. If I tell you what I passed through, if not the former company, that company that I was working then, that defended me, tried to make sure that the matter did not go aboard. What they did was to sack me from the company. But they did not allow that person to take up the matter, of which they are telling me if that person reports you that you are going to jail. So for you to see, I want to let our people know that somebody like Shetima, the evil of that Shetima, I don't know the beast in that Shetima, what is going to do our people. If we did not fight, what this Nigeria Fulani is going to do to us will be very, very terrible. So we need to stand up. I want anybody, if actually we can, if not because bringing some of these people will cause nuisance in our space. If not for the fact that bringing some of these people may cause them reporting our pages, our platform. I would have suggested we call them to come. If you know that thing that you can say that our current Prime Minister Mazoke Chukwunkere have done to you or have done wrong in this struggle, can you come out and tell us here? You have nothing you can say this is what this man has done, yet you are against him. A man who stands from day one, who has been defending this government right from day one, you are against him for no reason. So Biafrans, we should remove these sentiments, we should remove this hate, and know that what is going to befall us is going to be very, very massive, heavier, if we don't stand up now and do the needful. We know the story of Turkey, and we know those who are signing this. We know those who are bringing Turkey. They are the one working with these terrorists. They don't have you in mind. And one question I want to ask before I yield my mic is this. Now that they have aligned with Turkey, what happens to the US that is speaking about the Christian, the killing of the Christian? Are they going to push US aside? That is just what I just curious to know. Thank you very much. I yield my mic here.
Thank you so much, my co-host. Thank you for your submission. Biafrans, yes, I was able to, at least to the best of my ability, to connect it before we go to the 9 agreement. It's going to be very brief because if I want to go deep, we may not end the space today. Why are we doing all this? So that you know that if you don't reclaim your institutions, Fulani will definitely get it from you by force.
They are already taking.
And the only thing that can prevent that from happening is funding. Our website is always open 24/7.
My page, writing garbage.
Go there, click our website and donate.
I hope you are
Give
not
us IOU.
If you are seeing
What are you saving your money in Nigerian bank for?
Everywhere you are watching.
They are still battling with the tax reform, fake tax reform that they manipulated and altered. Look at the kind of interest you'll be paying. They are introducing Islamic financial system. It has effect. We've talked on this and will continue to. They have now gone to sign 9 agreements with Turkey. Who do you think that they are signing this agreement to fight? It is me and you. The target is me and you. I have just elaborated on the statement of Erdogan, what it means by terrorism, what it means in Nigerian context, that right now we are the only terrorists that Nigerian government have, the Biafran people. And the Turkish president is applauding Tinubu for what he has done. Look at what is trending today. A Nollywood fame maker, NNAMDI, arrested for what? participating in a coup plot to assassinate Tinubu. I am asking, what is the coordination or relationship or correlation between a filmmaker and coup? How? Just because it's a Biafra.
That's it.
And the list of army people that they published that were involved in the coup, the first time they published the name, there was no Biafran name on it. So now they have integrated this one just to complete the circle. You see? So if we don't wake up, something serious will happen to
They
us,
will
Biafrans.
chop you like suya, like a kirishi.
We need to wake up and fund our freedom. We need to wake up and speak in one voice. We will not stop educating Biafrans. We will not stop creating awareness for Biafrans to know what is coming if we keep on sitting on the fence. So now,
everywhere.
What are these 9 agreements? What do they stand for? What do they really mean in a layman's language? I will try and be brief. As I said, if I cannot explain it well, please, when I finish, feel free to pick up the mic and expatiate on it. I don't know it all. But if you are just in the space and you know that you are a media person, if you are free, kindly pick up the mic when I'm done. What I want to do, I'll be taking one agreement or combine two, like the first one and the second one that they signed is almost the same thing. Protocol on a military cooperation and defense cooperation. So it means the same thing. So I'm going to merge it together. So that is how I want to do it, so that it will be more interactive. I'll not be the only one talking. So please, you can also make your own research so that when I yield after this first 2 agreements, you can give your own contribution and then encourage the Biafra people. So please, if you are just joining the space, kindly share the space so that others will get the notification and then join us as well. I hope I'm still being heard. Now, this happened on the January 27th. Yes, Turkey and Nigeria, they signed 9 major agreements. 9 major agreements is what they signed. And the first agreement was on a protocol on military cooperation and a defense cooperation agreement and the counter-terrorism pact. So the first one, protocol on military cooperation and defense cooperation. And then the agreement number 2 was a counter-terrorism pact. So I'm going to merge the 2 agreements together. And then, you know, Turkey pledged support for Nigerian fight against terrorism through their military training, intelligence sharing, and defense industry cooperation. So that was what they signed. Now, this agreement that they signed now allows Turkey to train Nigerian military officers. And Turkish instructors will come to Nigeria to teach counter-terrorism tactics. I've told you what terrorism means in the context of Nigeria, that we are their targets. And the Turkish intelligence will be shared with the Nigerian security agencies. Now, the question we should be asking now is, who decide who the terrorists are? That is the question. Who are these terrorists that they will be training Nigerian military officers?
Now them be the terrorists.
And who also decide
all over the
who
world,
the Nigerian military are?
All
the
of
members,
them, these Turkish,
the officers,
all of them.
Because to the best of our knowledge, we know that Nigeria don't have military again, that the Nigerian military are made up of the terrorists, repentant Boko Haram terrorists. So this is conflicting.
They repent? They don't repent. Terrorists,
you see?
Repent.
So right now, the terrorist country Nigeria has labeled us IPOB. Because we are advocating for Nigeria, for Biafra freedom, God forbid Nigeria freedom. So they have labeled us as terrorists. So if you are advocating for Biafra independence, you are considered a terrorist threat. So when Turkey now trains the Nigerian forces in counter-terrorism, they are training them to suppress our agitation.
They are watching.
They are training them to suppress our freedom.
Of that zoo.
When Turkey shares intelligence, they are sharing information on Biafrans everywhere. Remember that they've done the same thing to the Kurdish people. For 40 years, they've waged war against the Kurdish separatists. And Nigeria have seen that they succeeded. So Nigeria said, okay, Turkey, give us the template. We have one terrorist group called the Biafra agitators. That is the only terrorists that Nigeria have. So that's the expertise Turkey is bringing to Nigeria. The expertise of crushing us, Biafrans. If we allow it to happen.
School, choose bomber.
When you now go to the defense cooperation that they also made in that agreement, Nigeria has already purchased Turkish-made unarmed, unmanned aerial vehicles drone. Wait, hold on, so that it will not be as if Tutos is the one saying this. Hold on, it's just a few minutes.
An Egyptian television news program says that Turkey is clearly a terrorist state with a broad reach. It reports that Turkey is supplying weapons to the terrorist group Boko Haram in Nigeria. 10 TV host Nashat Al-Delhi reported on a leak confirming an intercepted phone call from a few years back confirming the action. He reported in part, today's leak confirms without a doubt that Erdogan, his state, his government, and his party are transferring weapons from Turkey to, this is a shock, to where you may ask, to Nigeria. And to whom? To the Boko Haram organization.
Yeah,
Raymond Ibrahim, a journalism fellow at the David Horowitz Freedom Center and an expert on the Middle East and Islam, joins us now with more on this. Welcome, Raymond.
Hello, Heather.
Are you surprised by this report? What's your take on it?
No, I'm not surprised. And my take on it is that the actual tape that was made that you referenced and you quoted was made apparently in 2014 or 15. And it was reported widely in certain areas in the U.S. and in the West, not so much, and not much came out of it. And the reason, I think, is because Erdogan wasn't so, didn't have his fingers so much in Islamist politics outside of his own nation. But now that we've seen, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the ISIS Islamic State Caliph that was killed recently, and he was found just 3 miles from the Turkish border, which is in fact one of the last, or if not the last bastion of jihadi so-called freedom fighters of attacking the Syrian government. It's brought it up again, the fact that everyone is saying, well, look, he's supporting ISIS. So now we're remembering, and that was, I think, the point of the Egyptian show, where we're bringing back to see that there's some continuity here. It's not just right next door to Syria, to Turkey, meaning Syria. He's involved with some of the absolute worst Islamic terror groups. Remember, Boko Haram, which its name loosely means Western education is forbidden, haram, was basically doing what ISIS is notorious for years before ISIS. So the whole, head chopping, crucifying, massacres, enslaving women and children, burning people alive, Boko Haram was doing that. And one of the things that international observers have been noticing, especially increasingly, is that their armaments, their weapons, are very sophisticated. And it's even spilled into the Fulani tribesmen in Nigeria and in other parts in Africa. For example, I'm sure you know, Burkina Faso, also in Western Africa, attacks on Christians have become horrific. Just in the last few months, there have been so many killed, and always in the context of checking out if they're wearing crosses, if they can say the Islamic creed or not, and then being butchered and so forth. And those tribesmen, the Fulani, who are essentially living almost on a primitive scale, appear with very advanced weaponry.
Well, that's really interesting, which would kind of seem to perhaps give more weight to this idea that perhaps Turkey is collaborating with Boko Haram. What would the benefit be to Turkey of collaborating with Boko Haram?
Well, there's several theories. One is Erdogan basically is an ardent Islamist, and he is supporting and behind any Islamist movement in any country. He's the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. He was allied with Qatar of Al Jazeera as his ally. And so you can see him, he's trying to help develop these Islamist groups so they can overthrow more secular states. Though In fact, in Nigeria, an aside that I think is important, the president himself, Muhammad Buhari, of Nigeria, who's Muslim, Nigeria is half Christian, half Muslim, has been accused himself of being behind the so-called genocide, which a lot of international groups have called what's happening to Christians in Nigeria, that he himself is complicit in this armament. So he could very well be an ally of Erdogan and so forth, and it's just some sort of Islamist overall coalition globally.
I want to ask you, the President Trump, of course, met with the President of Turkey yesterday. Do you think he's aware of these kind of ties to terrorism? And what are your thoughts on that meeting yesterday?
Well, in general, I think, what he's aware of is really hard to tell. But I think the meeting in general, Trump and presidents won't necessarily bring up all these things, obviously. So when he met, for example, in Saudi Arabia with the king and so forth, he doesn't really mention human rights abuses and so forth for whatever strategic tactical reasons. So it's really hard to predict, but I think he needs to be aware because Erdogan's he's got his fingerprints everywhere now. It's not just Syria, which is very obvious, but now there's older evidence of him involved in Nigeria and also in Turkey itself, the Christian population, the minority there. And remember, Turkey was originally entirely Christian. It was Anatolia. It was actually where St. Paul wrote all his epistles to. They're really being treated badly and discriminated against, and a lot of hate preaching in Turkey is increasingly against Christians and Jews. So definitely Turkey's going down the wrong path with Erdogan, though many Turks themselves remain committed to the Ataturk ideal of secularism.
Well, we are out of time, but Raymond Ibrahim, thank you for your time and your insights here.
Okay, so I wanted us to hear so that it will not be as if a tutor, formulated what I was saying. He has also given a biography added to the one that I made about Erdogan. So that is the president that Tinubu is working with, aligning himself with. Why did I play? So that we know very well that they have already sent weapons to Nigeria. Because what they send are not defensive weapons. These are offensive military hardware designed to bomb targets from the air. So where will these drones and helicopters be deployed? If there is unrest in Biafra land, which they will create, if we do protest, if there are Biafran activists gathering here and there, these Turkish weapons will be used to bomb Biafran communities if me and you refuse to fund our freedom. So if you claim that you are a Christian, know that it has an impact on you as Christians or a traditionalist or Jews. You heard from the video, everyone is affected by the fingerprint of this Erdogan. That is his target, to Islamize every secular nation, just like what he did in Turkey. So Turkey military cooperation comes with an Islamic worldview. Turkish military training emphasizes loyalty to an Islamic state. So when Turkish officials train Nigerian soldiers, they are not just teaching tactics, they are sharing an ideology. The terrorism they are training to fight is Biafran self-determination. Every time this agreement mentions counter-terrorism, every time counter-terrorism, you need to understand who Nigeria consider the terrorists. Last time they called us other distracting elements when they sign agreement with their lobbyists. They classify us as other distracting elements after Boko Haram. So they have given us so many names. With Turkey, they branded us as terrorists. In their lobbying list, they branded us as other distracting elements. So the Nigerian government officially has designated us as a terrorist organization. We saw what they did in 2017. No Boko Haram bow. So anyone advocating for Biafra independence right now, anyone, flying our Biafra flag, anyone attending meetings here and there, you are labeled a terrorist. So when this agreement talks about Turkey training Nigerian forces in counter-terrorism tactics, it means Turkey is specifically training Nigerian forces to suppress us, to crush our independence movement, to eliminate any possibility of Biafran, signature. They want to eliminate us. So Turkey operates one of the most extensive foreign intelligence network in Europe. And I believe our brothers and sisters that are staying in Europe, they are here. So they are now going to connect that to Nigeria intelligence operation through this agreement. This was how our ex-prime minister was arrested on terrorism-related charges because Finland arrested him based on an Interpol red notice requested by Nigerian government because they've already declared us as terrorists. So they have seen our ex-prime minister as a terrorist. So who in Nigerian government handles extradition request? Extradition request. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs. I want us to understand how Bianca came into play. Who is the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs? Bianca Ojukwu. Bianca Ojukwu. So think about that symbolism and the betrayal this woman has brought to us. The widow of the Biafran leader Ojukwu is now part of the government machinery using international agreements and intelligence sharing to hunt down and extradite Biafran activists. Because that is what is happening right now. That is the reason I said nobody should blame our ex-prime minister in anything, if at all he's saying that from the detention that he is under serious duress. So under the Defense Cooperation Agreement Intelligence Sharing Provision, Nigeria gains access to information gathered through Turkish extensive European surveillance network. So the agreement uses this term neutralizing threat repeatedly. That is intelligence terminology. Neutralize is the deliberate language that can mean arrest. It can mean extradition. It can mean financial disruption. Are you now connecting the dot? Why the Accountability 2025 fought against our accounts, to close our accounts, to close our website? This was a mandate given to them by the Nigerian government. And they had to fulfill it by blocking our website. Because there is intelligence sharing between the Turkish government and the Nigerian government. And the Nigerian government had to look for a group of people to outsource that contract to. So when they say neutralize, financial disruption is part of that.
Exactly.
Ban any financial institution or system that will support our freedom. Imam Madabu and his team accepted the contract to do that.
And Professor Chioma,
are you following what I am saying? Assassination is also part of neutralizing. So if you are a Christian and you are sitting down there, while the intelligence is sharing, intelligence sharing is framed as counter-terrorism focused on groups like Biafrans, it will also target you. Every Christian organization receiving foreign funding. Labeled as what? Foreign interference in Nigerian affairs. Intelligence sharing with Turkey allows tracking of international financial flows to Nigerian churches and Christian NGOs. So it is not only about Biafrans, but now it depends on the territory that you have captured, the institutions that you have reclaimed to avoid this happening, because Nigeria have sealed this deal. And every ethnic group was represented. Bianca represented our region. But she is representing her family, not Biafran, because she's only one person.
Only one person.
Churches with international connections are also affected with this intelligence sharing, because evangelical and Pentecostal churches with ties to America or Europe ministry, this can be labeled as foreign influence cooperation. An operation as well, attempting to do what? Destabilize Nigeria. Christian activists that is documented, all of them that are documenting persecution, any documentation attack on Christians, all the evidence that they are compiling, all those genocide evidence that they are denying, which has become a threat to them because they've been denying. Remember, Professor, I'm coming to this professor that documented Christian genocide. Now, Islamic group demand his removal from INEC. Remember, there is a news this week that Islamic group said they should remove the current INEC chairman. You know why? Because he was the one that documented Christian genocide, like up to 60 pages of documentation. So he has become a threat to them. Islamic group say, no, Tinubu should remove him from being the INEC chairman. That is what I'm trying to explain here. All the Christian leaders opposing Islamization, all the pastors, all the bishops. See why Adeboye is not saying anything? Because he doesn't want the financing for his church to be stopped. They cannot speak out. Because if they speak out, they will classify all of them under terrorism.
Mambaka.
You see, we have to begin to connect what is happening. So if you speak against Islamic government or their policy, you'll be labeled as extremist. So Turkey Intelligence Service has extensive experience targeting religious minority in Turkey, and they want to replicate that in Nigeria. So I will yield my mic here for anyone that wants to talk about this 1 and 2 agreement, because it is alarming until Biafra will come together. This one is not the thing. I don't like chicken care. It is not about our prime minister. It is about you and me and your entire generation.
Exactly.
So I'll use my mic here. I think my co-host, Minister 1 million is here.
Okay. Oh, so